Hey everyone, it's Quad and we'll be bringing you another 1 versus 1 between, this time, Sjow and Nightend, the Teal Protoss. Yes, Teal Protoss, and this map is Terminus RE. This is the GSL version, or GSTL, which means it does have these rocks here which can be taken down, which make taking 3 bases really quickly slightly more difficult on this map, although it still is incredibly easy. And unfortunately, I'm not going to have too much to babble on for the first little bit here, as I really don't know too much about Sjow, and I really don't know too much about Nightend. I do think Nightend was on Prey. I very well could be wrong for this, as these players, what I do know about them, they are European or not North American players, so that's why I know almost nothing about them. And so I'm pretty sure Nightend was on Team Praetoriani, which did officially formally disband about a week ago, and so that said, I guess he's could be teamless now or whatnot. While Sjow, I was pretty sure was on Team Dignitas. I'm not sure why that's not in his name here, but I don't know. He could still be on it. I don't know. I'm not going to comment on that. But I don't know, we'll just go straight back to the name, since I can't actually say anything that's insightful or useful about these players. Other than that, Sjow is building his barracks on 12, and it looks like he will be walling off, as this is perfectly placed to put one supply depot here, another supply depot here. Meanwhile, Nightend is going for his normal gate, gas, and will most likely throw down another pylon and a core whenever it happens. And so, I may as well talk about positions on this map. If you don't know what this map is, Terminus RE is definitely one of the best maps to just play a straight macro game, because you can look at this mini-map. It's freaking massive. There's 4 main spawning areas, each with 3 mineral patches to grab 3 easy bases, and then there's 4 more patches in the middle of the map. So that leads to a total of 20 bases. Sorry, excuse me, 20 bases. Although 4 bases are actually not full bases. They do only have these 5 or 6, 5 mineral patches, each with only 1,000 minerals. Meanwhile, this gas, actually not on this version, actually is not a rich Vespene geyser. On the original RE version, it was a rich Vespene geyser, which yielded 6 minerals in a row, and I have no idea why that just happened. Actually, no, I do think I remember what Nightend did, is that he knew that the Marine was about to pop off, and that Sjow was going to be going for this command center, 1 rack expand, and Nightend has no real, or wanted to try to delay it, because a Protoss will not be able to expand as early as a Terran doing this. So it does leave the Protoss a little bit problematic. Do they try to get their Nexus up a little bit later and just accept the loss, or do they try to find some way to 3-gate pressure or something to even out? And looks like Nightend will be choosing to drop his own Nexus, and the scouting SCV will just catch a pure glimpse of that. And I'll just go back to talking about this and rambling on about nothing. I think Nightend dropped the pylon here to delay any SCV going down the ramp, or possibly even trapping a Marine behind there, so the probe would survive. And I don't think he really succeeded in any of those, except leaving the probe alive, as we do see this probe here with a little bit less than 2 Marine shots away from death. And Nightend, you're not MC, you're not playing Zerg, you're not allowed to cancel your Nexus. What are you doing? Oh, 5. Nightend is going for a 5 gateway cancel against Terran, who won a 1 rack expand, and this is going to be interesting. Sjow has not seen that it's been cancelled. He knows that the Nexus is down, and he is going. Looks like he actually might be going for quick medevacs after this, which would be disastrous, as this 5 gateway attack will be hitting very, very soon, within the next minute, and that is a danger of going into this really quick 1 or 2 racks expand style heavy Marines. You can be 5 or 6 gated by the Protoss, especially if you go for the quick medevacs afterwards. Oftentimes, Terran have to follow up with another 2 or 3 racks to ward any of that off. But then, if the Protoss just go straight into Colossus tech, they will the Terran will be behind a little bit in terms of tech, and could actually lose to a big Colossus push. So really, it is lesser, or choosing between 2 evils as the Terran. And Nightend is a little bit supply blocked here, and Pylon does finish, and he will be warping in almost purely sentries. Looks like he will be going for this this force field style of bus, try to isolate the bunkers, prevent any repairing on the SUVs going into Stalker. Will go and just tickle the SCV and we'll take some slight shield damage itself. And Sjow still has no idea that this is actually no, never mind. No, I had the wrong thing selected. And Sjow will be moving forward with these Marines, and this, if he's not careful, could lose the Stalker. The Stalker does not go down. And Sjow, I'm really not sure quite what he's doing. The starport is down. He actually has a tech lab on this, so he is not going for the quick medevacs, although he does have the sword. He will most likely, yeah, he's just going for siege tanks, which, if Nightend delays his push by much longer, this could go bad for him. He does have a pylon over here, and Sjow, what have you seen? Sjow still has not seen anything at all, and he's actually going for a very quick third base, which is exactly what this map designed. And here we go. Here, the Stalkers and Zealots are going in. Sentry has Guardian Shield up, forced to go down to isolate the bunker. The SCVs are pulled off the line, and they're actually able to repair on this bunker. This bunker will go down, and Nightend is forced to push back as Sjow just loses one bunker and I think a few Marines, not too many SCVs, and looks like Nightend's going to possibly go right back in. There is a Marine spotting down here to prevent any run-bys. And Nightend just doing some back and forth. The Stalkers trying to pick off siege tanks, picking off SCVs, or even health on the bunker. And now Nightend will begin working down on these rocks. He's continuing to move back and forth, back to his main base. He's staying on these 5 gateways. Meanwhile, Sjow is continuing to make tanks and Marines. He has not yet added on any additional barracks, although he does have a tech lab on here, so he will be going for Banshees, which, if he does manage to get Cloak out, will actually be extremely useful for him. And he does have enough gas, almost enough gas banked here, and Nightend has almost finished killing these rocks, and he will go and deny this third base from Sjow, and Sjow is not aware of this quite yet, and well, the command center might not get cancelled. Actually, is the command center finished? That's actually really bad. Sjow just lost 400 minerals. Their Cloak has been started, so right now Sjow just needs to hang on for dear life until that Cloak is finished, which does take the longest possible time. Pretty much, tanks have sieged up, and Nightend is going to soak up the damage and just go for it. One bunker does get sniped off, which the SCVs can come off to repair. Force fields do go down to isolate the SCVs, and this is looking quite scary for Sjow. The siege tanks are focused down. The Marines are doing tons of damage. All of the Zealots have evaporated for Nightend, and this bunker is not quite finished. It will be again made to repair, and Sjow is doing some back and forth micro once again, picking off Marines, picking off SCVs, picking off absolutely anything he can. The bunker has been finished. It will quickly be loaded up, but will almost as quickly be killed. Meanwhile, Cloak is about halfway done, and Nightend is still committing to this. This is actually looking quite bad for Sjow, who we see is actually down on the SCV count. He has lost that third base, and he's constantly losing bunkers here, and he's lost 2 siege tanks, which is a huge investment. And we do see Nightend is well up on the food count. He will be focusing down this one bunker. 2 mules do come in to start repairing, but it is too little too late. An SCV actually carrying some gas comes out of here. Siege tank will be focused up, and this Banshee actually at very low health. Nightend trying to focus it down. Banshee is pulled back, and as more Marines do come out, bunker is denied to be built, but the Cloak has finished, and Sjow will most likely be able to fend off this push as he begins to focus down sentries and stalkers. And but Nightend's still in a great position. If he can survive this Cloak onslaught, he might just have to drop robotics with Bane, quickly get out an observer, and maybe even his own. But Zealots actually are coming in. They're gonna start working on the siege thing once they make their way up to the ramp. Meanwhile, the Banshees are actually doing work on the sentries, taking every single sentry down, which is great by him. And 4 Stalkers will come down. The tank is sniped off, and Nightend will begin working his way on these buildings or SCVs that are at this natural here. And it looks like Nightend will begin focusing these. And where did those Banshees go? I actually have no idea. Oh, Banshees are here. They will be taking down these Zealots, and they have actually used up almost all their cloaking time, which is definitely not good. You do not need cloak against those Zealots. And now these Stalkers will try to focus down the Banshee. Banshee gets pulled back, and SCV is designated to repair, while these Marines do get focused down by Nightend, and Nightend will continue working on these SCVs. And Nightend has finished his robotics bay, or facility, excuse me, and right now it still is anyone's game. The Banshees do not quite have enough energy for cloak. There's one tank siege up on this high ground. Nightend has quite the number of minerals banked. He's continued to warp in units, but he's not made too many more units actually. And Sjow right now is trying to delay enough so that he can retake his natural expansion. Meanwhile, Nightend is trying to focus down. The Banshees are going back and forth with SCVs repairing on them. Tanks shelling off from the high ground, and looks like this expansion might be saved as a large amount of SCVs are pulled off to repair, get it out of burning zone, which Nightend quickly puts it back in, and Actually didn't know. I think a burning zone for a command center is about 500 health. I don't know, I guess the more you know, and Nightend is backing off now. He has started his Nexus, he is starting an Observer, and still is really close. There's no clear way to say who's in the lead, because Nightend can continue to put pressure on, but Sjow might have a bit of an edge, as he does have these mules here, and he has now caught up in workers once again. Meanwhile, Nightend is sitting at a healthy 30, and Banshee will begin working on this pylon, while the second Banshee will attempt to swoop all the way around to the back of Nightend's base, who does have 3 Stalkers and 1 Observer there, already ready to prevent any Banshee harass. And this 1 Banshee will be picked off, as there is this Observer here. So Nightend does have 2 Observers out, 1 defensive and 1 offensive, to make sure that his attacking force does not die to straight only cloak Banshees. And Nightend will be moving to the back of the mineral line here with the Stalkers to begin to focus down SCVs and mules. This mule, which has just been called down, does go down, and Sjow does have 3 tanks here, which he can creep forward to slowly take it. Banshee does go and begins to take some fire, is slightly focused fire. Siege tanks do begin firing on the Stalkers, and this is actually not good for Nightend at all. He has, I think he's lost his Observer. No, the Observer is here, so he's not able to take down that Banshee, which is cloaked, and Nightend just lost a huge amount of Stalkers there. That was definitely an under. I cannot find the word, but that was just a straight up mistake by him. He walked into 3 siege tanks of fire. He did not have any zealots in front of his Stalkers to soak up the fire, so he lost easily half his Stalkers, and he is now well behind on food. His expansion has finished, however, but he is fairly sure he is behind on worker count as we go back to that. Yes, he is. He's out only 29 probes. He has not made any additional ones, although he continues to kill off these SCVs and mules here, and 1 Banshee does get sniped off, as the Marines do push forward to take out these Stalkers. And Nightend's in an ever increasingly worse position, and he's going to have to call off this. Ooh, the Banshee might go down. Banshee does not go down. Barely gets out by the skin of its teeth, just 1 Stalker shot away from death. And Stalkers will go back into the back of the mineral and once again take out a few mules and SCVs, and Nightend really needs everything he can. Marines here look like they're going to be trying to cut off the Stalkers, but the Stalkers do scoot out in time as these 2 siege tanks siege up, which will stop any of those antics. And right now, Nightend is actually falling increasingly behind, as the Marine count by Sjow just gets to the scary measures. Stim is just about halfway done, and it's like the Nightend does realize that this is a problem, and so he will begin getting his robotics bay, which he's definitely going to need, as it's not in this style. It's not so much that the tanks are the problem, as the tanks can be quite easily dealt with charge lots and 1 or 2 immortals to just tank up the fire, but it's the Marines that just keep everything away from the tanks that need to be dealt with, and especially with Stim, they're so deadly against gateway units, and just 1 or 2 Colossus will just completely shred through those. And looks like Nightend does know this. Sjow is moving further up to his choke to ensure that there is no more Stalker antics from Nightend, and all. He might go for his 3rd base, try to retake it, or he actually might be pushing out, as Stim is getting ever closer to being finished. Banshee does get picked off. That was very nice by Nightend, and there are medevacs out on the field. No more being made. Tanks and Marines are continuing to be made. How many barracks does he has? Wow. Nightend does have 5 barracks, actually, none of them with reactors. That's not quite as much production as I originally thought, but nonetheless, it is quite scary for Nightend, who does not have yet a single Colossus out. That Colossus is about a 1/3 of the way done, and right now, Nightend is going to have to delay as long as he can. He will not be able to kill this force until he actually has that, or unless he's somehow able to broadside all these tanks. Tanks siege up in a great position in this choke, and Nightend is doing a good job of keeping his forces split up. A couple of Marines do stim for Zealots are moved forward, and they actually do get taken out very quickly by those tanks. Nightend also losing some pylons here. Sacrificial Zealot also goes in. Marines continue to stim. More Zealots are going in. That's not very good for Nightend. Nightend needs every single Zealot he can, and tank does go in. And Colossus has spawned. This will be quite. Colossus pulled back his focus fine by the tanks, and all of Nightend's units are dead. All the Zealots are in. Colossus is focused down, and all the Marines will now come back into the battle, and that's it for Nightend. Nightend has lost his entire army. He has no real way of defending this, and there is the GG from Nightend. And Sjow showing you how to Marine tank it up against Protoss, and quite a nice game. Just constant aggression from Nightend there, which almost paid off. I think it was just that one crucial mistake where he lost about half his Stalkers running to that siege line, and it wasn't for that, he could have been in a much better position, or even just getting those Colossus out just that little bit sooner. If he had Thermal Lance, it would not have died so quickly. That Thermal Lance, sadly, about 30 seconds away from completion at the end of the game. But nonetheless, Sjow being triumphant and Nightend not being triumphant. So I hope you all enjoyed this anyways, and I'll see you all next time.